Jose Monkey, you specialize in finding people on the internet.
That's what I
For
do.
anybody who's not familiar, how would you describe what you do?
So I find people who ask me to find them. And when I say that I find them, what I do is I have people send me videos that they've recorded. Um, and then I look at those videos and try to figure out, based on the clues that I see in the video, where they recorded it. So, I'll try to see any clues that are in the background, any things about, the way the surrounding area looks, things that the person might be wearing, the way that they're speaking, just anything that I can use in the video to try to determine where it was recorded.
Fairly recently, you did one where you used an algorithm to track down a Wendy's near a CVS near a water tower, and then
Yeah.
eventually used Google Street Maps to how did you get started with doing all that?
Well, it's really hard to say. I mean, I have been interested in doing geolocation type things as a hobby for many years, more than 10 years. And I think that when I first got started around the same time as when the GeoGuessr, game that people play online, around the time that was getting started. They've been around for 10 years already, apparently. So in that game, they just like drop you somewhere in the world and show you Google Street View, and you're supposed to try to figure out where you are. And I was fascinated with that. But I had also been fairly active on Twitter at the time, following some people who talked about things like this and would occasionally post, geolocation challenges where they just have a photo or something and say, like, can anyone figure out where this is? And after the first few times I did it, I realized I was like, wow, actually, I can figure out where that is. It's, if you look at the clues and do the right searches, sometimes you can really put one and one together and it adds up sometimes. So yeah, it was like kind of an interesting thing that I discovered. It was like a neat kind of puzzle to solve. And then, I got started doing it on TikTok, just as like a bit of a goof to see if anybody would be interested in it. When I first got started, the way that I first got started was that I started thinking about whether or not that would be a thing that anyone would be interested in watching me do at all. I had no ideas that it would become like a big thing. I was just making all kinds of different content on TikTok, and I just was trying something new. So I said, like, well, this is the thing I like to do. Let me see if I can do that and if anybody would enjoy it. And I remember, I found a person who had posted a video saying, can anybody, guess where I am? And I guess compared to most of the ones I do now, it probably seems like a really easy one. But I figured out where it was. I posted a video. And actually the first couple of videos I did like that didn't really do very well. And at first I thought that TikTok was like, didn't want me to do that or something, because I felt like my videos got like really low views after that. And so I actually almost didn't keep going with it after the first two videos I did. But then I was like, no, let me try again. And then shortly after that, like one of them kind of blew up, and well, then, people started getting really interested and saying like, oh, find me Jose Monkey. So, the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, that's very cool. Once people know to ask for you to
right.
They're like, oh, now I see what's going on. Yeah, algorithms are really weird sometimes. You've mentioned in several videos that I've seen anyway, that one of the reasons that you do what you do is to educate people on how much information they're actually revealing when they post videos online.
That's right.
Yeah, would you care to elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, on one hand, it's a hobby that I just really enjoy. But on the other hand, I felt like there was an important bit of education and awareness that could raise some awareness about online safety and privacy, because I don't think a lot of people realize how much they give away in the photos and videos that they post. It's truly concerning sometimes when people post things and you're like, oh geez, it's like right outside of your house and you could see, a street sign. And so I feel like most people don't, they kind of need to see that demonstrated before it really clicks that they're like, oh wow, I didn't realize that was possible. So yeah, I try to do it in a way that is educational, but fun for people. And also, helps people to like learn about this in a way that is like enjoyable and interesting and doesn't feel too like weird and creepy, right? So like that was important to me from the beginning, is like I'm already doing a thing that some people might think is like a little bit weird, right? So that's why I've always been so adamant that like I find people who ask to be found. I don't just take random videos and try to figure out where you live. That's not what I do. But some people will. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever been contacted by an intelligence agency like the CIA to try to track down a place?
It's funny. Like a lot of people ask that question in the comments on my videos. They're like, "Do you work for the FBI? You work for the CIA? All that stuff." I cannot say that any 3-letter agency like that has ever reached out to me. I do get police contacting me from time to time. Usually, it's more about them looking for whether or not there's training to do the kind of thing that I do. More so, like people ask, like, "Are you like solving cold cases or something?" That's not really a thing that's happening. So there's been like limited situations where like some police have reached out to me in various different ways, but I can't say that I've ever really been involved in any kind of serious crime fighting.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right.
So you've done a lot with the growth of your channel and adding education into it, as well as the fun and the reverse challenge and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
What are your goals going forward?
Well, that's a good question. I'm really trying to do. I try to do lots of different videos and not always do the same thing, because I worry that it does get a little bit, same old if I'm like always finding people using the same methods in similar looking places. Some people have joked a lot that all the videos in the United States that I get are from people in parking lots. And sadly, it is kind of true. There's a lot of parking lot videos coming in, because I think that's just where people go, and they're like not in their neighborhood. And, that's just a place that seems like a good place, to try to ask somebody to find you. But yeah, so I definitely try to look for videos that are different, or that I have to find using different methods that I haven't used before, to try to keep it, interesting for people. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have considered, trying to like branch out into other things. I'm not really sure what just yet, but I mean, I am interested in trying to see where I can go with it and what people are interested in watching.
It's always fun to mix things up.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans in mind for Nococon?
Well, so I think that the idea that we were talking about would be that I could host a panel about online safety. So I think that would be, hopefully a lot of fun and like an interesting topic for people. So I'm hoping that if I do that, like we haven't really fleshed out exactly what we're going to, do in that portion of the convention just yet, but I'm thinking that, I will probably want to talk to people a bit about the kinds of things that they should be aware of, how to like increase their, kind of enhance their privacy, by what steps they can take, or like what things they should or shouldn't do when posting online. And I've done like a handful of videos where I talk about things like that, but I think it'll be a good opportunity to talk about it in more depth and potentially, answer questions that people might have. So, I think that'll be good. But I think I also wanted, to share some of the experiences that I've had in finding people, hopefully to try to demonstrate some of the things I'm talking about. So I don't know. I'm hoping to mix it up and make it, fun, but also educational.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And it's super cool that people will be able to come find you in a known location this summer.
Right? That's pretty
but
crazy.
Until then, where can people who aren't already following you find you, I suppose, in a digital sense?
Yep. So most people know me on TikTok. So obviously you can find me there. My username on TikTok is _Jose Monkey. Believe it or not, Jose Monkey was taken when I when I went to make my TikTok account years ago. But yeah, that's me there. I'm also on YouTube. And I'm just Jose Monkey on YouTube. You can find links to all of my social media on my website, which is josemonkey.com. So, you can find me in those places. I also post on Threads from time to time. So, if anybody's interested in following me there, sometimes I say goofy stuff there. It's that you won't really see my video content there, but just me saying silly stuff.
All right, fantastic. Well, I look forward to meeting you in person this summer and all the cool. There's so much cool stuff coming up for Nococon. It's a lot. So, anybody watching, be sure to go check out Jose Monkey's content if you're one of the few people who's not already familiar, and visit the website noco-con.com to get your tickets, and make sure you subscribe here so that you can see more interviews with cool guests and whatnot as we count down the days to Nococon 2024. Jose, thank you again so much for joining.
Sure.
It's been a pretty neat chat.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure.